Hey guys, it's Jacee from Itty Bitty Baby Beck. We're going to be doing something new this year. We're going to be video blogging once a week, different crafts, tutorials, kind of fun things that we have going on for the week. And this is our first one, so please bear with me. I'm trying not to stumble over my words, which is kind of hard to do sometimes. But this first tutorial that we're actually going to do this year is arm knitting. Now you've seen my arm knitting scarves kind of go on Facebook and on my blog. And we thought, what a better way to start off 2014 than to teach you how to arm knit. So to start off, you need two bundles of yarn, and you want to get the bulkier kind of yarn. A lot of them, they say bulky right on them. This one is from Meyer. It's a $2.99 yarn. It's probably the best one I've found so far. Besides, they have one at Hobby Lobby that is about $8.99, I want to say. Kind of expensive because you need two of them. But if you use your 50% off coupons, you can get them on a good deal. And that probably would be my favorite yarn is from Hobby Lobby. They have a really thick wool blend. But these work just fine. They're kind of a polyester blend. And they're really warm. So to start, you need to take everything off of your hands and your arms. Get your arms like nice and bare. You don't want to snag your yarn on anything. So take off your yarn sleeves. And I'm going to kind of switch back and forth so I can show you. It's really easy once you get the hang of it, but to start off with, you might need to look at my hands a little closer. So pull your yarn out. You have two pieces. It's going to be connected in the middle. Just pull it out. You can just let it fall on the floor, and I gather a couple different arm lengths of yarn off of there so you don't get tangled. Okay, to start off with, you take your two ends, put them together, and you want to measure out probably 4 of these. And this is going to be your tail. So what you need to do is you need to make a slip knot, and about like so. So you have this. You just string that on your arm. Now you keep your tail off to the right side of your body. Okay, now here's the tricky part. This is probably the most challenging thing in arm knitting is casting on. Okay, so you need to put 2 fingers together, these 2 fingers. You go through and you grab the outside with these fingers. You pull it around so it's going to resemble a gun. You need to go under the thumb, over the middle string, under this one, and then back up through the original hole. And pull it together. And you tighten it. And then you have 2 loops on your hand. I'll do it one more time this way, and then we're going to switch over. So you go through like a gun, go under, over the farthest loop, and then back through the middle. And there's 3. Let me switch around so you can see. Okay. So you have your tail here and your working yarn. You go through, grab this outside with these fingers, flip it over so it's got your gun there. You go under and then over the outside loop, under it, and then back through this big part and pull. Okay, I'll speed it up real quick. Usually for adult scarves, you want to cast on about 11 or 12. And like I said, when you start doing this, it's so easy that you just can pretty much do it with your eyes closed. So let me just finish up real quick. Sometimes I sit and watch Law and Order and knit a scarf per episode. That's kind of what I've been doing the last couple weeks because everyone's wanted these scarves. Let me see how many I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. and 11. You don't want to pull them really tight because you have to pull them back over your hand. Okay, so there, that's what it looks like. And the first couple stitches you're gonna do, it's not gonna look pretty. Do not worry about it. It all evens itself out over time. So with your working yarn here, this is your tail. You grab it in your same hand and you pull your 2 stitches, because they're divided in 2s. So pull your 2 stitches over, put your other hand through. And then I grab the working yarn with the hand that it just went through and kind of just pull a little bit. So you just pull over and then go through. And you just do this back and forth until you kind of have the length that you want. And it's really just an eyeball. There's not a specific set amount of stitches. So I'm casting over. I'll do the next set reverse so you can kind of see from a different angle what it looks like. But once you get it all over to one hand, and you're free to do whatever, like grab the baby, go put your dishes in the sink, kind of whatever. So this is what it looks like. This is your first knit, your first sleeve. And like I said, it's not gonna look really pretty when you start off. It's gonna kind of be all wobbly. This outside is always gonna be looser, but when you cast back the other way, it will even itself out and won't be so loose. Okay, so let me switch around and you can look from my angle. So when you're going back, you pull over, pull through, and then I used to grab these 2 and just kind of pull it tighter on my hand. So you go over, and you just literally keep going back and forth just like this. It's so incredibly easy. It does not take a whole lot of time, about 30 minutes to complete a scarf. And let's see. Okay, so there is 2 rows of stitches. And I'm gonna actually speed the video up so you can kind of see what it looks like when I'm further along. And then I will show you how to cast off and how to tie it to make an infinity scarf. Okay, so hold on just a minute. Okay, so this is how far I am right now. I do want to add probably 3 more lines on here. I have learned over time, because practice makes perfect, that I want my scarves a little bit on the smaller side, so they're really close up to my neck. I have found that over time the yarn stretches, so I'd rather make it too small than too big. I have a red scarf that I did when I first started arm knitting, and it stretched out so far that now I wrap it 3 times around my neck, which is not bad at all. It actually creates a very warm and cozy scarf once it's 3 times around. So I'm almost done here, and then I'm going to show you how to cast off. It's also really, really easy. These are super easy scarves. Like I said, they take 30 minutes. They make great presents for you. If you find a cheap enough yarn, it's a really great, inexpensive accessory, especially with the snowpocalypse, as you can see behind me, coming in. These scarves will come in handy. So almost done. I'm going to do 1 more line, and then I will show you how to cast off. We are flying out to Florida on Friday, and I could not come at a better time. It is freezing out here in this sunroom. It's the only room in the house with enough light to show you what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so this is how big I've made my scarf. I'll show you. This is how much I have left on my bundles. You don't have to use all the yarn. You can save it and make mini scarves, or even maybe like head warmers or something. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, now to cast off. So you have your scarf and your working yarn. Basically what you do is you pull 2 stitches over like you would normally to keep going. So grab it. You're gonna pull the next stitch over and put your arm through so you have 2 stitches on the other hand. Now instead of keep going, you need to pull the first stitch over and then pull tight. You know, not too tight, just kind of enough to secure it. And then you pull the next one over, so then you have 2 stitches again, and then you pull the outside over. You just kind of tighten it up. Don't really tighten it because when we tie the infinity scarf, you want to be able to pull your yarn through those knots. So you go over, so there's 2, and pull over. And you just keep repeating this until all the yarn is over onto the other hand or cast off. Okay. So, almost done. Okay, now for this last stitch to cast off, same thing like you would normally, and you pull this over. Now you're left with this last stitch on your hand. Slide your hand out of it, so you just have the 1 stitch in your hand, and all I do is knot it. Pull tight, and I usually double knot it just to make sure it's secure. Okay, now this part of the yarn, you can just cut that off. We do not need this anymore. So hold on, I forgot my scissors. Okay, so got my scissors, not that part. Okay, so working yarn and your little last loop. You can just snip those off. And we'll start the process of threading. Okay, now your scarf has 2 sides. It has a really flat side and it has the exposed braided side. You can use whatever you want. You can kind of overlap them. It's totally up to you. So to string them together, you need to lay them on I usually leave the braided side up because I wear mine on the smooth side. And you can just double them over and match up the tops together. And all you do with the tail is weave it through the braided parts. And this is why I said don't tie that one side really tight, because you want to be able to pull your yarn through it and kind of weave it together. You go over, and I just keep spiraling it around through the yarn. I apologize for not going faster. My fingers are freezing out here. They're slightly frostbite, I think. Okay. Almost done. And I usually do one on the outside just to make sure that the sides kind of match up and you get a nice even line. The end, I just tie it off. I kind of just make a couple different knots and pull tight. And I always do one more stitch just to be sure. And once that's all together, you can just cut off your tail. And then you have your infinity scarf. You loop around twice. Just kind of punch it up, and there you have it. It's perfect. It's really nice, really warm, really easy and inexpensive. That's the big part. So, one problem I actually do have with these scarves, if you have littles like I do, she likes to put her hands through these and she'll like, you know, pull out a snag. Now, what do you do to fix it? You can actually just kind of do this with your scarf. And since it's one like huge continuous knot, it will just kind of even itself out. And there we go, back to normal. So, here we go. So that's that. If you have any questions, feel free to give me an email. If you have any suggestions for tutorials that I show or different things you want me to talk about, feel free to drop me a comment, send me an email. I would love to hear from you. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you next week. Bye.